How you going, brothers? Apologies about the noise while I'm driving along in the truck. It's the only way or chance I'm going to get to make a video, and I haven't done one for a few days for the Bro Check Club. Currently driving along with my son. We're heading into the scrub to try and see if we can find some wild mushrooms because they are growing at this time of year. But this video is not about that. It is about violence. And it's not about men being violent. It's about men being the victims of violence. And it's not being violent from their fathers or their mates, it's from women. And I wanted to hit on this topic because it's not something you hear about or gets talked about or even gets a lot of support, which is absolute fucking shit, because there is a lot of men that suffer violence from their women. Problem with that is we are not allowed to hit back, and of course we shouldn't hit back. The most we can do is protect ourselves by controlling them. And there's not a lot of resources out there for men that are in violent relationships. Now, I know of a case, and the police are still investigating this, and one of the brothers watching the channel, you will know who I'm talking about because it was your brother that took his own life not so long ago. He was coerced by his partner to do it, and that is currently under investigation by the police, that one. Now, a new law did come out recently, I think it was a year or 2 years ago, it came out during the euthanasia bill when they were talking about do you have the rights to kill yourself or not. And they also included in there, if somebody coerces somebody else into taking their own life, then they become liable, and so they fucking should too. I'm very, very passionate about this one because I have been in a relationship with somebody who was violent towards me, and it was a horrible situation I couldn't get out of. I had to stay with that person for a set amount of time. I wanted to get out of it, but I won't go into the whole ramifications of it, but I was kind of stuck with them, and I was a recipient of violence, and trying to talk to people about it, you got laughed at. Oh, well, you know, you're a strong man. The thing is that you cannot fight back like you can with a man. Obviously, you can't punch the person out or wrestle them. All you can do is try and restrain them because we don't hit women. That's just a given. But the thing is, there are no resources out there for men that suffer violence from their partners, and there should be. I'll tell you how bad it is. During the is it White Ribbon Parade, violence against women, I think it is, I actually was supporting that, and I did the music for it. It's going back a few years, and then I ended up sitting in a circle of women in town, in Nelson Town, all discussing about violence and how women, and there is plenty of violence from men against women, but this video is not about that. In this particular meeting, I raised the topic, well, what about when women are violent towards men? And I came under such fire from these women. There was no, oh well, it happens. It was just complete ridicule, and I was ostracised. And it hasn't changed much. Things haven't really changed much at all. Us men don't have a lot of resources if we find ourselves in a relationship with a woman that's violent. Now, I'll tell you something interesting. This is a statistic. Trying to get out of a relationship with someone who's violent is not easy. It's about 7 times of attempting to get out of it is what the general number is for people. That's women and men. So you try to get out of that relationship that's violent, and it takes you about 7 attempts. Because you love the person and you care about them, and they're probably manipulating you and probably making you think that you need them in some weird way. They're probably beating your self-esteem down so you think you can't get anybody else. And that makes it harder. But for us men, it's even harder still because there are no resources. Women can go to a women's refuge. The men's refuge in town, well, basically it's a place where you go to bed for the night, but there's no one there to counsel you on how to deal with violence when it's a woman that's been violent against you. So years ago, I was in this relationship that wasn't healthy. It was a terrible relationship, and I tried to get out of it and couldn't for various reasons. And eventually, I ended up talking to a doctor, a female doctor, and I've got to say, out of all the people I spoke to, she was the best, and she gave me some very, very good advice, and I really appreciated getting that support at that time, but it was the only support I could get. So this video is for any of you brothers out there that are on the receiving end of violence. You're a victim from your partners. Yes, it does happen, and we don't talk about it. Men are the highest rate of people who take their own lives. 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 5. Youth suicide is the highest in the OEDC, New Zealand. What's OEDC stand for, son? It's economical. Someone look that up. Someone Google that. OEDC. I'm pretty sure it's. Anyway, those countries, there's a lot of them. I don't think America's in the OEDC. I've got my son beside me here, I'm picking his brains. I used to know what it stands for, but I know that New Zealand has the highest rate in that. You got it yet, son? He's Googling it.
No, there's no service here.
No service here. Oh, geez, that's so typical. We'll pick it up when we get some service and find out what it is. But we are the highest, and that's probably getting away a little bit from this theme of violence towards men. But when children grow up and they witness that, it does huge damage to them. I know. It's very damaging because it gives them a world to grow up in where they think it's the norm, and then when they get to sort of like just teenage years, they start to develop these emotions and things that come back from their past. No child is born damaged. They get damaged by those that are their caregivers or those that are supposedly their caregivers and raising them. No child's born with these things in their life. It could either happen when they're in the womb, be developed, or it could happen as they're growing up. So when a child grows up and sees that his mother is beating on his father, it does huge damage. And of course the other way, when a child grows up seeing his father beating his mother, and we hear about these tales a lot more. But this video is not about that. That can be addressed by another group or someone else. I'm addressing the ones where men are hit by their partners. So if you are a man that has been a victim, I'm interested to hear what support you had, and can we share it with someone else, the support you got, because I don't really know a real resource for men that have that. I wish I could say I do. I wish I could bring something to the table, but I never found it. I had one doctor that helped me back years ago, so and that's a lot of years ago now. That's today's Bro Check Club video. Nothing that interesting, and sorry the fact that it's in my truck, but I just have not stopped. I've got dishes built up at home, and right now my life's a mess on the outside as far as jobs that need doing, because I've been busy looking after a few young blokes and a few old blokes too for that matter. And right now I'm spending some time with the son. We're going to get some food because I haven't had a chance to even cook a feed at home. No grizzles about that. Enjoying the journey, enjoying the challenges of it. Go steady, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later.